Good afternoon. We're on the Mall here with a wonderful baker, Stephen Chisholm. Stephen and I have known each other for how long now, Stephen?
10 years.
10 years, my goodness. Feel like I've shrank in 10 years maybe, and you've got taller?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so, but Stephen, tell me all about your recent, you keep innovating, Stephen, and you're going to open a new business very soon with a new gang, and the business is going to be called Farah, if I can remember.
That's right, yes.
So you can tell me all about that business and then how it all developed.
Yeah, so Farah, Farah means wild or beast in Latin.
Bit like yourself?
Bit like myself, yes.
A wild beast?
A wild beast, yes. The reason why we chose that name is it means wild, and everything we do is with yeast or yeast base or sourdough base.
Okay.
And sourdough is actually sometimes known as wild yeast.
The wild yeast, that's
so everything's kind of based off of that. So we kind of thought Farah was nice. It rolled off the tongue.
It does.
You know, all our products are either vinocerie, which is laminated pastries and morning goods, or sourdough. Right. And that's kind of our tagline: Farah, vinocerie, and sourdough.
Very good. Love it. Love it. So, you've been working on those products for the last few months, or years, or maybe to get them where you are. You've done a bit of. I keep an eye on your Instagram, and see you do a bit of research in different parts of the world, and that's the way to do it, Stephen.
Yeah.
I remember when I was young, I had time and didn't have kids. That's what I would have done. I'd have jumped on the plane on a Sunday night. You never know where it would have been, just to see what was going on. So, any favourites out of the place you've been?
I mean, the real big thing for me is croissant. I know it's the plain croissant, but the one we have and the one I've developed is an accumulation of development over years of me going to different bakeries and trying out their products, or maybe going and ask the baker what they do and how they do it.
I love your coloured croissants.
The coloured, yeah, and that's the basis. Once we get our croissant dough right, we can do so many things. We got croissants, pain au chocolat, Danish, crumpets,
seasons and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it can go anywhere really.
Yeah.
So you've got your pace. So what are you going to do today for us?
Today, I sort of felt Farah is all about vinocerie and sourdough, so I'll do one from each. So the first product is going to be the vinocerie side. So again, morning pastries, laminated pastry. I'm going to do our version of a Portuguese custard tart.
People love those. Funny, I put up on our Facebook that you were coming here to do a bit of a demo today, and we put up a little picture of custard tarts, and the amount of comments on custard tarts, Portuguese custard tarts. So what makes a Portuguese custard tart different to a Belfast custard tart? Because they are, they're so different.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember going to my granny's and she getting custard tarts from the bakery. Yeah, I liked them, but they were watery, they were a bit. But these are just completely delicious.
Yeah, well, one of the real big differences is the pastry, actually. So with a Belfast or let's say a UK custard tart, the pastry is a short crust, tends to be, so it's a bit more crumbly. With the Portuguese custard tarts, they use a
puff
pastry, puff, but they roll it in a certain way.
So loads more butter is the answer?
Loads more butter, and that does tend to be what makes everything better.
That's right. So it's all that buttery and all that cream.
Yep.
And loads of egg yolks and stuff. So
absolutely.
I'm going to let you get on with it, Stephen, and I'm going to help you if you need my help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you work away, buddy.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the pastry on, because with the pastry we need to start to make it and chill it, and that's in order to keep sort of the layers and keep the butter cold in it. So it's very simple, the pastry. It's just plain flour. So we've got plain flour there, and then we've got salt and sugar, so we can just mix that all in together as one, and sort of mix your dry ingredients. It's as simple as that.
Just plain flour, not the extra strong flour?
Just plain flour, yeah. Just for this sort of pastry. If you were doing something like a croissant, you would be using a strong flour. Now,
you see the butter you're using? That's a question I would get quite often at cookery school. Do you have to use unsalted butter? I know my answer, but I want to hear your answer.
No.
Good.
You don't have to use unsalted.
Okay.
Actually, the butter that we use in our croissant is slightly salted, because we feel that it gives a better sort of flavour to it.
Yeah. And doesn't it bring the sugar on somehow?
It does a bit, yeah.
I don't know how it does that. There's a science behind that, but I don't know how it works.
But we don't have all the time to talk about that one. So but it's quite interesting. So, and just on the butter, this is, I've cubed this up, and it's just roughly cubed up.
Straight from the fridge.
Straight from the fridge,
Yeah.
because we want to keep this cold.
And behind it just one.
So, I'm just tossing that together just to coat it with the flour. Now, Stevie, if you could grab the water just from the fridge.
Yeah, sure.
We need ice cold water for this again, because again, with the pastry, we want to keep this cold. So, if you pour just a little bit in there for me, and I'll tell you when. That should do, yep. And we're just going to add a little bit at a time, and you can add just a little bit more then. So all I'm doing is I'm just adding the water a little at a time until I sort of start to form a dough.
No, I've seen this done before, Steve. I don't know if you've done it before, where you actually grate your butter
That's
and
right.
you stick your butter in the freezer,
Yes.
and then you form. You basically start off with a basic dough first, and then you form. I'm amazed by it. I actually tried it once and it worked. And you start forming your frozen butter in between the layers.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Grated in the butter's a good way to do it as well, because it keeps it, you know, all little sort of flecks. And that's what you're trying to do, because we're trying to create a bit of a marbled effect with this. This is rough puff, so full puff pastry, you know, it's a lot more difficult to make. It takes a lot longer. We touch more there, Stevie.
A wee bit of disappointing news for you all there, guys. See when you're buying your puff pastry in the shops, have a look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
There's a lot of puff pastries they're selling in shops now don't have any butter in it at all.
Yep, that's right.
And it's rapeseed oil. And I think it's a scandal.
It is.
So make sure you get the puff pastry brand
That's right.
with the real butter in it.
Now, as you can see, it's kind of like come together into a bit of a shaggy dough, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of press my hands into it slightly. I'll take a wee touch more water there, Stevie.
Sure.
And all I'm doing is I'm kind of just pressing the butter in slightly, but I don't want to break up those big chunks of butter.
Exactly. So this is the thing, people, if you're watching this video, that when you're making rough puff, that you don't want to break that butter down like you would do with short crust
That's
pastry.
right, yeah. You want to.
But you're going to start foaming this, Stephen, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. And I'll
Yeah.
take one more wee touch of water just to bring it together. And a wee bit more. Keep going. That's you there.
Okay.
So, again, that's like nice cold water is just keeping all the ingredients good and cold in this. So as you can see, that's come together now pretty nicely into a dough. It is still kind of, what would you say, a bit flaky, nearly.
Do you want to know about the water? You're all right.
No, that's
okay?
okay. Yeah, as you can see, if I push that together, that begins to come into a dough.
Maybe going to be close up for that bend on that there, just to let people see the butter.
So it does this come together. You can see the big chunks of butter that are still in it, and that's exactly what we want. So what we're going to do now is going to get a little bit of flour just onto our bench there. And what we're going to do is we're going to just press this out. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm just pressing down in each side. I'm not rolling out to start with, because if you start to roll out to begin with, then I always find you sort of push it down too much and you don't.
I find too, Stephen, you can tell me I'm right or wrong. You should be gentle with a rolling pin.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? And I find people with it, when they get a rolling pin in their hands, they go daft. They're like, I'm trying to say, be gentle.
Yeah, and that's it. Especially because the butter's all very cold here. It's going. If you're very rough with it, you're going to start to break it apart. So you do just want to be very gentle. And as you can see, I'm actually just going like that.
Yeah.
I'm just pressing down on each side. I haven't actually even rolled it yet, really, to be honest. I'm going to start doing that now, but I can still feel the firmness of the butter. So just going to start to roll it, and then what I'm going to try and do is make a bit of a rectangle that's 3 times as long as it is wide.
The amazing thing about this pastry is the ratio of the butter and flour is nearly the same.
It is, that's right.
It's a huge amount
That's
of
how
butter.
you know it's good.
It's a huge amount of butter.
Okay, so that's a rough sort of rectangle. So with puff pastry, what we're doing is we're trying to make layers. So full puff pastry has
If you
dough,
call it
butter,
is that the
dough,
lamination
butter.
they call
That's
it?
the lamination, yeah. Now we're doing rough puff pastry, which is a lot quicker to make and it's a lot simpler. So we don't have the time and we don't have the ability to do the dough and the butter, and it would take a long time to do. So with rough puff, what we'll do is we're still going to make those folds. So a bit like you're folding a letter, you take the top third and you bring it down, and then you bring the bottom third and you bring it up.
So everything's in thirds, Stephen, isn't it?
Everything's in thirds, yeah.
So just for the people to remember that.
Yep.
Every fold you do is a third. And then you turn it around that way.
Yep, so I folded it.
Yeah.
That was how long it was that way. So
Yeah.
I've just turned it so it comes this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the two open seams, one is facing you and one is facing away from you.
Yeah. That's us starting to create our layers.
That's our starting to create our layers. Now, what we'll do at that point is we would put that into the fridge and let it chill down a bit.
30 minutes?
About 30 minutes in the fridge, and that just gets the butter firmed up again, gets your pastry firmed up again. And when it comes out, what we're going to do, so if you can imagine that I brought this back out of the fridge.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to do the same thing again.
So we're going through the same process a half an hour later.
Exactly same process again, half an hour later. We're just pressing down again. Can even go out that way a wee bit. Notice again, Stevie, I haven't even started to roll yet. All I'm doing is just pressing down, pressing down.
See that half an hour, is that also letting the gluten settle too?
That's right. Yeah. So
So you're doing two things, it's letting the butter chill for you to get those layers, and then it's letting the gluten settle and will slightly strengthen, I suppose.
it strengthens, yeah, and it relaxes, because otherwise it's going to snap back.
Yeah.
It's it's going to want to shrink on you. So
you're going to go through again.
yep. So again, it's the exact same process. See the big lovely marbles of butter? That's perfect. That's what we want. So we're going to fold top third down again, and the bottom third up, just like so. And again, back into the fridge.
Stop you again. How many layers have we got now?
So
That's 6 or there's more?
So that, if you think about the first one,
Yeah, there's 12.
we did 3.
Three.
So we did 3, and then we did 3, so we're
Three.
under 9 now.
And then we're going
when we roll that again,
be 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
there's 12 layers already.
So
Okay.
we're going to put that just into the fridge then, just to firm up, and we're going to roll that out again.
Half
one
an hour
more
again?
time. Another half an hour, yeah. 20
Okay.
minutes to half an hour again.
So we're still pretending.
Yep. So
Okay.
So whilst you're waiting for that to chill, Stevie, if you even want to get the custard on, actually.
Sure.
So the custard for this recipe, very, very simple. All the ingredients are going to go into the pot. So first off is your milk. So it's whole milk. It's important to use a whole milk as well, because it's got the higher fat content.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly. I mean, we're going with all the butter and the pastry.
Cream,
And then
double cream.
Stevie's putting in the double cream. Yep. So just double cream. Adds
Caster
another bit of
sugar.
richness. And we've got our caster sugar here,
Am I gonna do our eggs and our
all into the pot.
all in the pot?
All
So
into the pot.
different to creme patisserie.
Yep. Very different to creme patisserie. Yep.
Completely different.
Yep. So it's all going to go
Okay.
in.
So you hear that, everybody? If you were making a custard or a creme patisserie, you'll be putting your sugar and your egg yolks in here, and you're beating until they're white.
That's
and
right.
flat. So
Yeah.
this is.
So this is simple. This is
good.
great because it's
It
all
really
one
is
pot.
good.
It's all one pan.
I like this.
This is fantastic. And this is your egg yolk. So egg yolk with no egg white or egg shells in it. Difficult to do, no, but
And then we've got our lovely vanilla.
yep, we've got a little bit of vanilla extract here. So if you can get vanilla bean paste, even better, because that adds a real nice sort of fleck to the to it. And just the flavour of it
Nutmeg,
is amazing.
Stevie. Do you want nutmeg now?
Yeah, so nutmeg. So you can add a wee nutmeg, just a wee pinch, Stevie. You can add nutmeg, or you can add a wee bit of cinnamon. Into it. It just adds a little extra depth of
What?
flavour to it.
What would be the correct traditional recipe? Would it be nutmeg or cinnamon?
So cinnamon would be the traditional recipe.
Would it?
With us, we're doing
What do you think?
a little bit of nutmeg in it, just to add that sort of, just a wee point of difference. Really, we do like what we do in Farah. We do like to make things a little bit different, a little twist on the original. So Stevie, if you put that up to about medium to high heat, and just keep on stirring that for me. If you have a thermometer, what you're actually looking to do is you're looking to bring it up to 70 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so sorry about this. I'm going to steal a wee bit of this.
Yes, so what Stevie's doing there is he's actually taking a little bit of the liquid mixture and he's pouring it into the corn flour. The corn flour we're not cooking to start with, because corn flour starts to thicken the custard, and we don't want to thicken the custard until it goes into the oven. So it's very clever what he's doing here, because corn flour has a tendency to clump up very easily. And if you poured all your corn flour dry into your mix, into the pot and into the pan, what it would do is would just clump and it wouldn't blend in. So Stevie's actually making, what do you call it, a slurry?
It's called a slurry.
Slurry.
Yeah.
Lovely name.
I like to joke about that in the
Yeah.
class because if you're a man from Ballymena or Antrim or something,
Oh, it
and
means
you're a
something
farmer,
very different, doesn't it?
it's a totally different thing. But it's called a slurry. It's exactly
That's
what
it,
it's called.
yeah.
And I suppose the group, the most cuisine in the world would use this as the Asians, especially Chinese.
That's right.
For their
yes.
sauces.
Yeah.
So I'm
You're-
intrigued by the egg in here, and
Yeah, so all you're going to
Yeah.
do is you're just going to stir
Yeah.
that and bring it up to temperature, and it's going to dissolve the sugar. So while Stevie's doing that, if you can imagine, we waited another 30 minutes and our pastries come back out, we're going to do our final set of rolling out and folding. So again, start off in the middle and just push down gently each
so I'm
side.
amazed by this. So we're going to end up 18 layers, is that right, Stephen?
that's
18
correct.
layers.
Yep.
18 layers. Okay.
Okay, and again, look, see the big marbles of butter? That's perfect, that's what we want with Rough Puff. You want to see that. Okay, and it's important every time you do roll just to lift your pastry up to stop it from sticking to the bench. Okay, so this is the third time that we've done this. We've rolled it out to 3 times long as it is wide, and what we're going to do is we're going to do that final fold. So we're going to fold it just like a business letter, top third down and the bottom third up. And that's your pastry made. That's the pastry ready to go. So Stevie, what you can do,
and Rough Puff pastry.
what you can do at this is you can wrap this up and you can keep that in the fridge for 3 days. So this is really great. You can get ahead of time, you can make this and have it sitting ready. So
Okay.
we'll put that into the fridge.
I'm doing that for
And what you could do is you could grab the one that I made earlier. So I've made this one earlier on. It's chilled down a good bit.
So, same thing, same recipe.
Yep, same recipe.
It's ready to rock.
Ready to rock. And you can see
I'm going
what
to take
happens.
see that pastry.
You can see what happens. It's a lot firmer because it's been sitting in the fridge for a while, and that's really good. It keeps it nice and cold. It makes it so much easier to work with. The butter's not going to melt, and it's a lot easier to sort of handle. So what we'll do is we're going to just start to roll this out, and we're going to line our tins with it. So same idea again. Bit of flour down, press it down, just in the middle. So you always work from the middle out, and it's important to keep rotating your pastry. And that just stops it from sticking, because the last thing you want to do is go through all this effort and all this work of making your pastry, and then it sticks to the bench and you're having to scrape it off. Okay, so just going to start to roll this out. And again, see, every time that I roll it out, I move it. Just rolling it down, and that, again, it just stops it from sticking to the bench. Okay, so that's about the thickness of just, it's about a 50p coin thickness, which is ideal. That's what we want. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the rounds. So I've got my cupcake mold here. I've buttered it on the inside. That's really important just to help it release.
No flour.
No flour, just butter. Butter, or you can even get, the wee oil sprays you can get
Just in
nowadays?
spray,
They're perfect.
Yeah, they are good.
Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you cut.
Can I interrupt for you a minute, chef?
Yes, sorry.
Am I using all of this?
Yes, you're using all that. So
Okay.
once that's up to temperature,
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's nearly there.
you can imagine what 70 degrees is with your
Nearly there.
experience. Once you've done that, then you just add that in and just whisk it in, and it'll go into the fridge then just to chill down. So Stevie's just putting the
Slurry.
slurry in there, and that's going to help thicken it. So as soon as that's in, Stevie, what you can do is you can take that away and look. You can take that off the heat and put it into the fridge for me.
Okay.
Because what we would want to do is, as soon as the corn flour goes in, it's going to start to thicken, and we don't want to thicken it just yet. But we do want it to thicken in the oven. So look at
You're
that,
happy with
lovely.
that?
That is lovely, perfect. So that's the custard done, which is great. It can sit in the fridge. Again, it's the type of thing you can do ahead of time. So if you've made your pastry and it's sitting in the fridge, brilliant. You can have that sitting ready. Your
put that in the tray for you.
custard tart, you can, or your custard mix, you can have it in the fridge and you can have it sitting waiting. So this would be a great one to do at the weekend. If you have everything prepared, you can have it ready next morning, wake up, roll your pastry out and pour your custard into the oven, and you can be serving up fresh custard tarts.
Living the dream, Stephen. Living the dream.
I know. It's like
Croissants, a glass of champagne, maybe. Yeah.
if you're feeling bougie. Okay, so we've rolled the pastry out, and what we're going to do is we're going to start to line our molds here. Now, what's really important is you want to cut your pastry so that it is far bigger than the size of your cavity, and the reason for that is you've got to make sure that your pastry not only lines the bottom, but it comes up the sides as well. Okay, so nice and big.
What's your result?
Pastry cutter, and I'm just going to cut out the 6 rounds.
Depth. But that depth there, Stevie. Twice the depth of a kind of a bread scrape, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So it's about the size of a 50p coin, I would imagine. So that's your extra pastry.
For you.
Take that to the side. Okay, so, and again, everyone has a different size of cupcake molds. It just depends what size yours is. So use whatever cutter will give you the correct amount of pastry so that it runs up the side. So what you do is just get your pastry, and so you just push it in with your fingers. So Ben, you might want to get a wee sort of aerial on this one maybe, just to make it a bit. So what I'm doing is just take it in, using my 2 fingers and just very gently easing it in so that you're not tearing the pastry and forcing it down. Okay, so just like so. And again, just into each one of the wee cavities.
So Stevie, quite rustic in that way, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah, they
Yeah.
are. They're very rustic, and that's the beauty of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, you don't.
That's a charm of them, isn't it?
Yeah, you can. You know, you're not in a French patisserie here. We want to make things look rustic.
Portuguese.
You know, Portuguese. It's very simple, and that is part of the sort of beauty of them, really.
You know, there's an African influence in Portuguese food.
Is that right?
Yeah. I really
I suppose
didn't.
they are close.
Yeah.
They're close neighbours.
Kinda,
Okay, so Stevie, that's the.
you ready?
We're ready. So if we grab the, I've got a bit of cool custard that was just in the fridge there. And I'll just give this a wee quick scrape down. Okay, so this is my custard that's just been cooled down slightly. It's been sitting in the
Want me to
fridge.
fill it for you?
Yep. So you fill it, and when you're filling, Stevie, if you go just to a little bit from a,
Do you put a
from
wee
the top.
sprinkle of nutmeg on top before it goes in?
You can do a wee sprinkle of nutmeg on top. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want?
So
Right there?
right there, yep. So
Because the egg expands.
the custard is going to bubble up and it's going to expand. So that's perfect, yep. So you do just want to let it have a little bit of a gap. Leave about a couple of millimeters from the top. That's beautiful. And they're a good deep sort of dish, aren't they, really, Stevie?
Lovely, they're lovely.
Look at that.
I like-
You're very specific. Very precise.
Oh, brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah.
All these compliments I get today, Stephen.
So that's them there. Beautiful.
I have to do this because I really want to do this.
Oh, he wants to do the wee,
I just
sprinkle.
want to do this because I like this. I just like that there.
Beautiful. Look at that. Yeah.
I feel like
that just sets it off.
I feel like
really.
I'm on TV and all, you know. so there you go.
Beautiful.
So that's your Portuguese custard tart. It's as easy as that.
Yep.
Part of the pastry will take time.
Yeah.
But you do it in your own time, as you say, and don't get excited about it. But once it gets to the custard part, I mean, that took me 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the time with the pastry is chilling in the fridge.
Yeah.
Your actual hands-on time is very little. So.
So here's the bit that got me when I was reading your recipe.
Yep.
The temperature of this,
Yes.
that threw me a bit.
Yep.
And I went, what? You see, so you're cooking these at 240 degrees.
340.
A Sneery's has an oven goes.
It is, yeah. And most ovens, it is their maximum. So,
Yeah.
and you do want to cook these really, really high. Portuguese custard tarts do have a signature sort of black marks on it that people might think, I burnt this. It's not the case at all. That's,
I know.
That's how it is.
Well, that is the thing because people think they're burnt.
Yeah.
I know. What was I doing the other day? I can't remember what it was. It was a bread dish and it was meant to be kind of singed, you know. Somebody said to me in the cooking machine, everyone that was burnt. You know, so you ready for the oven? They're
Yes,
yours.
these are ready for the oven then.
I'll clean that.
So we'll stick these in. Okay. So in they go, just into the oven, and I have a few that are just ready, so I'll bring them out. So look at that.
It's a blue painted moment.
So there we go. So there's the signature sort of black marks on it that we were talking about. It does sort of look, sort of rustic. The custard will dip down very slightly once it's come out, and that's absolutely fine. This is a sort of deeper dish one. So what you need to do, Stevie, I know you want to dive into these straight away, but it's really important to wait a good 20 to 30 minutes, because the custard on the inside, although it is cooked, it is still liquid and it's molten hot. So
I know.
You want to wait 20 to 30 minutes.
Well, this is, I find too, even with, Neil agrees, even when you're doing breads, people want to cut bread right away.
That's right.
the last thing you do.
That's right.
You've got to wait that 20 minutes, you say, half an hour.
Let's see, if you have a wee knife, even I can show you lift one out and show you just how the
I might only have that.
wee palette knife that should do.
Will that
Yeah.
work?
You could look at that, beautiful,
There we
perfect. Look at that,
Fabulous.
very good. So
you can see the flakes of pastry there, I can see that.
pastry's just flaking around the sides there, and again, it does have a bit of a darker colour. That's totally what we're looking for. Again, it can also be even your tin. If your tin's slightly older, it will darken your pastry a little bit, but by no means is that overdone.
Perfect, Steve.
Lovely.
I love it. Yeah, and could you, of course, a Portuguese, it's like, what I'm going to say is probably contradictory, but could we change the flavour here if I wanted to? Could we put orange zest, and that's what you wanted?
Absolutely. Orange zest, you can put a bit of lemon.
Could you chop apricots through this?
You could, yeah. What you can do is in your custard, so when you're actually making your custard, anything that you infuse into the custard at the start will add
Here,
flavour.
what I done?
Correct, but what you want to do is before you pour it in, you want to sieve it out. So say you put in a bit of apricot, a bit of dried apricot, and you got an apricot-y flavour into your custard. You would want to sieve that out before.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah, just so that it, you don't end up with a real.
So am I giving you ideas here for your new bakery?
Yes, might be able to give you a job.
So, what I thought would be lovely, it just came to me, like a proper little poached apricot set in the middle and the custard over the top.
Lovely, yeah.
I don't know.
I know, and that's the beauty of it. You can sort of make them your own as well.
So there you go, your Stephen's Portuguese custard tarts, made in relevant to our length of time, apart from the rough puff pastry, and he made that so simple. So what we'll do is we'll tidy up a wee bit, Stephen, and then we'll go on to our next recipe.